Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, all. It's Bear here. And I'd like to welcome you to my YouTube channel, aboxwithnolid, a channel I'm creating not just to bring awareness to the reality trauma creates, but I really want to get into understanding the mechanisms behind it so that we can create ways and paths of healing. Now, this is another video as I'm working through the processes of attachment and understanding how to heal. And as I said in the last video, in this video I want to look at how we can actually heal in a bit more detail our attachment trauma. Now, when you look at attachment theory, Bowlby and a few others, and our understanding hasn't really progressed from a very limited base. What Bowlby put forward with the creation of attachment theory, which was through observing children in particular settings and certain interpretations of childhood behavior, was such a limited viewpoint. And then it was broken down into all these different steps. One of the issues I have with science in regards to when you're looking at healing anything, and in most facets of science when you're looking at understanding things, the actual reality of things, science has to kill something before it can understand it, and it has to take it out of a living context so that the parameters remain static to gather the data needed to create a process of interpretation. For want of a better analogy, you kill it, then you dissect it. But attachment is living. We are a living being. We are a constantly evolving living being. And our body is constantly trying to find better ways of surviving, following the protocols that we've learned have worked from our earliest moments, from our first breath, and what we've inherited epigenetically. We are a biological ecology of many different layers of process, and it's a living thing. Attachment is a living process within us. It engages our entire being. Every facet of who we are is involved in how we connect and how we participate with those connections. So when we understand that it is a living thing, no two gardens are the same. We can look at any type of garden and duplicate it, but no two are identical. No matter where we are, even if they're side by side, there are always going to be subtle differences. And those differences over time create different outcomes. The plants grow slightly differently because of those differences. And that's where science falls down when you're looking at healing anything, whether it be from a medical construct or when you're looking at it from healing trauma, is each individual person has a slightly different variation. And the way we approach needs to adapt to those variations for it to work. This is one of the primary reasons I've made this channel, is to try to give you guys out there the information you need to do it for yourselves, because you're the one that's going to have to adapt what you learn to help you. Now, as I said in a couple of videos ago about what I've seen within indigenous communities and how they approach healing connection, the protocols within those communities are living. They are a basic common sense way to have the structure of a functional family a functional organism, a functional garden. All the different things you need to play and the requirements are met and all the things you need to do and participate with so that that garden will produce what you're asking it to, what you're hoping it will. Those protocols within those communities in the healing attachment and belonging and healing trauma are the same. We cannot dictate how we are part of a family. But if a family comes together in the way of the focus of creating the family as a living ecology, a functional, positive, productive living ecology, then everything falls into place naturally to heal being part of. There's processes to respond to a trigger. When you're tripped out and an elder can come up and they know what to do to get you to ground back into being where you are, to be safe, tremor release and process out, because it's a caring family unit. So when you start to look into healing trauma and create these bases, spend a bit of time researching. Like, I don't want to put up protocols from different tribal nations here. I don't feel that is my place. But there's a lot of ways you can learn it on the internet to get an idea of how you can look at your own dynamic around you and understand the processes of creating an ecology that supports everybody within it. Not this ecology exists to feed this one entity or this one person. The ecology feeds everybody, and not just who are present now, but for the generations to come. If you take that analogy into your understandings, and it's the day-to-day stuff, it's not some big broad umbrella philosophy. You know, even though, yes, we're all related, is a broad philosophy, and it's true. But it's taking it down to the day-to-day physical world. You know, who's going to wash up, who's cooking dinner, who's providing what, who's going to clean up, who's going to deal with, how are you going to deal with the arguments here, and all this sort of stuff. That's what I'm talking about. Processes of respect. You know, one of the easiest examples, excuse me, is like a talking stick ceremony. There's many variations within different communities. Get a stick, tie a ribbon on it, make it a little different to all the other sticks. Everybody brings their most valuable item, and you place it in the center of the circle. Because if you disrespect the protocols, you lose that. That goes and is sold or given to everybody else there. You get the stick, and you only get the stick once, and nobody can interrupt you. You can have your say, but you only get the stick once, and then it gets passed on to the next person, so forth, all the way around. Everybody has their say. If anybody interjects, interrupts, intimidates, or does anything, what they've placed in the center of that circle is gone. They don't get it back. That's a protocol of process. And there are many variations within indigenous communities. You know, I've seen it where somebody's telling stuff behind someone's back. The whole community is brought together, including those people, and they're made to say it in front of everybody. The whole truth comes out. That's what I mean by problem-solving protocols. It's ways of getting to the base of what is needed to be understood so that these interactions can heal and improve. If we have that healing, we can connect, we can resolve, and we can create this living ecology of a support base so that we can start to learn to heal those leads that were not plugged in. Because we can only do it through experiencing it. We cannot be told how to. We cannot read a book. We cannot follow instruction. We need to actively, physically experience the healing of those connections through experiences that meet what our body requires to heal what didn't happen so long ago. Through these protocols, we can do this. through this understanding, we can do this. And I will always do more videos on this side of things every time I hear of new ways or think of new ways to explain this. Because I firmly believe that the base of healing all forms of trauma is healing attachment and connection. Because if we cross that line into our community and we are safe and we belong, we will naturally heal. Everything within our body is there to support us in our healing. There is a pathway to do it. We just need to feel safe. We need to feel supported. And we need to belong. As I said, the only places I've seen, and anybody who knows me, when I look at trauma and how to heal it, I don't look at the easy ones first. If we go to the most hardcore, those that have gone through the most, and we create a way to help, support, and heal that, then within that is the healing of everything. All the other experiences from everybody else. And the few, really positive indigenous community parts that I've been to, I'm thinking, there's one in particular where I've watched multi-tour combat veterans and residential school survivors and those that have survived horrific abuse lead communities in the healing and dealing with family violence and domestic abuse and poverty and so forth and so forth. They still have those memories, but they are at the heart and soul of their communities, participating and bringing these communities together and healing many, 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 many people. You don't see that in the Western world. And that shows me that how they approach works. And how they approached was the traditions and protocols of their community, of their people, their language and stories, songs and dance and so forth and so forth. The functional structure of their family and community. We can learn a lot, but that is how we heal. Attachment is a living ecology, and it's a part of our living ecology, and if we approach it as a living ecology, we can keep on finding different combinations and ways to make it work and heal and progress that little bit further each day. As always, I love you guys' comments and feedback. Please be mindful, please be safe, and I'll see you all next time. Hope.